Well, greetings, my dear friends and fellow patriots. How is everybody tonight on this beautiful Saturday evening on the 14th day of November in the year of our Lord 2020? I hope all of you, wherever you are on this blue-green spinning orb called Earth, greetings. I hope you are having a good time today. I hope you are happy. I hope you are disease free and living in a complete free environment. I'm coming to you tonight from Quantico, Virginia, Marine Corps Base Quantico. I'm at the, I think it's called the Crossroads Inn or I don't know, they changed the name of it and I'm not really sure. But anyway, they have me in their database and thank God I was able to get a room. Y'all haven't heard from me in a few days, so I guess I need to bring you up to speed. But let me just cut to the chase and tell you that playing on that video screen here in my room is video footage from the MAGA Million March in D.C. today. And that's why I'm here. I attended that march and I survived. I don't know how, but I did to come here and shoot a video. So what I want y'all to do is whatever suits your fancy. I want you to grab you a hot cocoa or maybe a coffee or maybe a cup of Postum. You know, that Postum's good stuff. It's caffeine free. It's all grain. It makes for a good coffee, but I'll tell you, my favorite is the Hemp Works hemp coffee. Oh my God. Those of you, I know there's a lot of you out there watching that have used it and you know what I'm talking about. And look, now I'm not going to do a lot of Alex Jones type advertising here, but I'm freelancing tonight. I want to come on here and talk to y'all. I want everybody to get comfortable, okay? If that means, you know, curling up in the fetal position on the couch, whatever you got to do to be cool and comfortable, I want you to open up your brain and your mind and your heart and listen to the words I have to share tonight. Because most of you know, if you've been watching my videos for any length of time, I like to consider myself a truth seeker. And I think I've earned the right to claim that title. I'm not real big on titles. It seems like human beings by nature love to have, you know, titles and things like that. Makes them feel good, makes them feel more important or whatever. I don't really need a title, but you know, I remember early on, you know, when I started on this journey, I used to have people say, "Well, Steve, what do you consider yourself? Are you a guru, or you know, are you starting a new religion? You know, what the hell?" I said, "No, man. All I am, I'm just seeking truth." You know, I was in the church for 40 plus years, and you know, I really worked hard in that damn church. And anybody that knows me or any of my family members, you know, that remember when I was really active in that thing, I did a lot of work. And then, you know, after I retired from the military, I was living up in Portland, Oregon, and I stumbled into some information in the form of a couple books. And I read those books, and man, I came away with a lot of questions that I heretofore really hadn't contemplated or asked myself, and that led me to read I'm kind of a voracious reader as it is, right? So it led me to read a couple more books, and now I'm like, my mind is like, you know, really starting to open, and I'm going, oh my God. You know, and you ask yourself, how did you get to where you are today? You know, you learn from your parents, your school, your church, you know, and on down the line, your community. We're all products of our environment to a certain degree, and that doesn't mean you can't break out of that environment. That's what I did. You know, I was born and raised in a, you know, somewhat backward Southern Virginia town, you know, textile mill town. Not backward, you know, home of some of the most wonderful people I've ever known, but at the same time, you know, not real technically advanced. You know, we live not too far from the Raleigh-Durham Research Triangle. And it was like, you know, damn, we're only like 35 miles from the Research Triangle, And yet none of that is, rubbed off by osmosis or whatever into Danville. But ever since I was a kid, my mother had me entering public library reading contests, and I think I won first place every summer, for reading the most books and things like that. But I don't know why I'm getting off on that. But listen, this is what I want to tell y'all. I want you to relax a little bit. And I want you to just listen to some hardcore truth. And I'm going to tell you about my experience up here in Washington, D.C. today. But let me back up just a few days. On Monday, I had said something about I was going to come back here. I was going to drive. I was going to get in my car and drive back to D.C. to attend this march. And I looked at the damn weather, and there was just way too much snow. And after that experience I had down in New Mexico last winter, February of 2019, I said, man, I ain't doing that shit anymore. And some of y'all may remember, that's when Jesus took the wheel. Remember that? The Jesus took the wheel video? Well, that's the truth. And I didn't want another experience like that. And I said, well, I don't really want to fly, but I looked at some flights into D.C. and I thought I could make it work and, get a rental car and get over my goal was to come here to Quantico. Anytime I'm anywhere in this area, I come to Quantico. Like last year, I was in D.C. in October 2019 for a little digital warrior conference, if you know what I mean. And it was a whole different city back then. I got to tell you the story of what I've seen with my own damn eyes from last October to now. This place is it looks like the whole damn city is in lockdown. You don't see, you see people riding bicycles with masks on, masks everywhere. Everybody's wearing masks. And so that, that in and of itself means that people are locked down, right? Because, CDC and the damn WHO and all, Bill Gates and all, they got total control over these mask people. So I refuse to wear a mask. But anyway, so on Wednesday, on this past Wednesday, I got up and I was listening to Alex Jones, to be honest with you. And Owen Schroyer came on. He started talking about this rally. They were going to go to this rally in D.C. and they were going to drive across the southern part of the United States, stopping at these various capitals and, having rallies for Trump and stuff. And I guess it went really well. Well, on Wednesday, I said, I don't want to miss out on what might be a historic occasion. And let me stop now and tell you it was historic. I've never seen anything like it, and I'll be posting a lot of pictures I took today. But in the meantime, I thought the best approach would be to do a short video for all you good people and tell you what I did. So Wednesday, I got on Southwest and I got me a one-way ticket. Tried to get a two-way, but I was having a lot of problems with the Thanksgiving holidays and getting back to Boise. So I got a one-way ticket into Washington, to D.C., and decided, I'm going to go to this march. And so I had already called Quantico, and they had a room. Cost me a little more than I wanted to pay, but it's a suite. They have a little kitchenette thing. But, there's no other place I'd rather be than Quantico, when I'm in this area, like I said. Because, Washington, D.C. is a hostile place. If you don't know your way around, like what I discovered today. Now, let me tell you what I did. All right, so I got in, Thursday night, got my rental car late, drove down to Quantico, and then I had some meetings with some various folks on Friday. So I started about 9:30 on Friday, and I was in meetings all the way up till about 8 o'clock Friday night. And so then today, I got up kind of early, went over to they're serving a brunch at the Officers Club right across from the inn here. So I went over there and had breakfast. and then made my way. Now what I did, I put on my Trump flags. Now where are they? Oh, they're still in the car. So I pulled over. I mean, I'm still in the Quantico parking lot, and I put on these big Trump flags and had them hooked onto my back windows of this rental car. And I'm driving a Chevy Suburban, one of these big ones, and looks like a government agent kind of thing. But I said, I'm going to drive in there and find a place to park. Well, I had looked at the route, that the Patriots going to take, and they were going to end up at the Supreme Court. And so what I figured was I'll just set the GPS for the Supreme Court, and I'll drive to that area and find a place to park, okay? But let me go back. Let me tell you what happened when I hit D.C. Okay, so I know D.C. fairly well, right? I spent quite a bit of time there during my military career. Pentagon, time or two, and stuff. So I've been there. Know my way around. Well, I always liked the George Washington Parkway. And you can look it up for those of you that have been there or whatever. Those of you that are familiar with D.C., it's one of the most scenic routes. I mean, I think so. You've got the Potomac River. If you're heading north, you got the Potomac on your right, the skyline of Washington, D.C., Capitol Building, Washington Monument. It's nice. And then if you go way on down, you run into Langley, CIA headquarters. Some of you, you know who you are, and I know some of you, I know of you. I don't know nobody. But anyway, so I decide I'm going to go in. There was rumors about that freakazoid Washington, D.C. mayor was going to have checkpoints testing everybody for COVID. Well, I guess they gave up on that idea. But I decided, nevertheless, I was going to avoid, any problem. And I was going to go on down the George Washington Parkway and take, trying to think of the name of the bridge. It's not the Arlington Bridge, okay? It's the one further down. I think it's the 14th Street Bridge, maybe. But anyway, I take this bridge across the Potomac into what I quickly discovered was Georgetown. Now, it had been years since I was in Georgetown, but I do remember it was a very bright, robust town. A lot of college kids hanging out in bars and discos and, crazy stuff like that. But a very upbeat town. Never any problem, with thugs or anything like that. Well, it's now, immediately as I got into Georgetown, I started noticing all these boarded up businesses. Plywood everywhere, boarded up. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this place and then I'm seeing these people, and they're like, I'm driving through this place with these Trump flags, right? And I'm looking at these people, and they're looking at me like, who the hell is this guy, and what is he doing on our turf with those Trump flags? And I'm thinking, and I don't have any, well, I wouldn't be fair to say, I was going to say I got these weapons. I had these two weapons right here. I didn't have a firearm, but I figured, if worse came to worse, and somebody tried to drag me out of the car, I'd just stab the shit out of them, and hope for the best and keep driving. Well, immediately when I got into Georgetown, I knew that I could potentially be in a very bad situation because some of the roads in these streets in Georgetown are so narrow that two cars cannot pass. One has to pull over. Now remember, I'm in a Chevy Suburban, one of these big bad boys. But I somehow, by the grace of God, made my way around through D.C. all for about 2 hours until I finally found a parking spot near the Supreme Court. And so it was a day to remember. But friends, I learned a hell of a lot of lessons. Now, number one, BLM and Antifa are the scum of the earth. I mean, it don't get no worse than this. Now, let me tell you what I got to observe today. I watched them all. Now, I got lost in the Northeast in a very, very colored people neighborhood. I was like the only white boy driving around with Trump flags, okay? But somehow I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, bless me that I can get through this. Surround this vehicle with light. And let it be that these people don't even see me. I don't know, friends, but you would have thought I was damn cloaked. Because I had some reactions now. I had a lot of, I'd say, I was thinking, how many people flipped me off today that didn't know me from Adam? And I ascertained that it was probably about 50. I think that's a good, solid number, about 50. And that's pretty close, one way or another, right? And yelling all sorts of obscenity. So I guess I wasn't cloaked, but I was protected. I think that's a better way to put it. But what I noticed, these people are like vampires. They spend most of the day preparing for their assaults at night. They love to work under the cover of darkness. Now, I know you find this hard to believe, but I don't. A lot of the Antifa are former military, even Marines. And they're teaching them the same kind of tactics that, that we all understand. I mean, Marines understand. And it's ugly. It's really, really ugly. And they have no idea what they stand for. They're communist. And thank God for the United States Marine Corps that stands, on the wall protecting humanity from the hordes of communists. And right now, what we are witnessing is a Chinese communist takeover of America. I mean, it's sad to think that there are still people out there in cyberspace that know nothing about Joe Biden, Joe Creepy Pedo Biden, and his criminal history. I mean, I'm not going to get into that. It's well proven. It's just sad that there's so many that all they watch is CNN, MSNBC, and they're so totally brainwashed into believing, whatever these dumbass anchors like Wolf Blitzer have to say. Well, I guess you would say that I'm a real patriot, and so when I made up my mind last Wednesday, I got me a plane, got me a rent-a-car, got me a room at Quantico, and now here I am, and I just successfully came back from making a little history, I guess, because, remember now, I'm driving all over D.C. for 2.5 hours trying to find a parking spot, going by the same spots over and over, because that's all you can do. What the hell are you going to do? All the parking garages were closed. The damn cops, the D.C. cops suck. They are so pro-BLM and Antifa, and obviously all day I witnessed the cops protecting BLM, but not doing a damn thing for the patriots and the, real, the Trump supporters. It was just blatantly obvious. It was sad. It was just nauseating to behold that we have such a divided country. And, we got Barack Hussein Obama to thank for all the racial divide, which before him there really was none. Even though George W. Bush is part of a crime syndicate, the Bush crime syndicate as well. We all know that. Tell us something, Steve, we don't already know. Well, I'll tell you one thing. These Antifa, they come out of their holes in the late afternoon, I guess, and they come out in their black communist attire. I saw this over and over, friends. I'm very observant, and I remember what I see. And I said to myself, I said, these people up to no good. And it was like you'd see two or three of them gathered on this corner, then you see about 10 of them over here, and I'm just trying to drive through this shit and just make it out alive. And I'm thinking, what the hell am I going to do if they attack my vehicle? And some of these places they could have attacked, and there was nowhere for me to get out. I couldn't go forward, couldn't go back. I just have to, Custer's last stand, you know what I'm saying? But they would not have gotten away without some harm, I can assure you that. But I'm really glad it turned out, and I prayed and asked the angels to come in, and I think they did. I really. Now, when it comes to angels, I think most of you know my pedigree or my story, and I will never, in this lifetime, denounce or recant my story of what happened to me in Durham, North Carolina in April of 2015 after attending a Dr. Brian Weiss weekend retreat in New York City, going through numerous past life regressions, which I guess many of you know my story about that. If you don't, it may be a good time to take 1 second and tell you, well, when I left the church of my youth, and like I said, I was 40 plus when I decided it was no longer for me. Now I still have many friends that are, very faithful Mormon people, and I love them to death, and I don't say anything bad about the church, but maybe I just out-educated myself, if you will. But, I chose a different path, and I decided to seek truth wherever I could find it. And that's how I ended up where I am today. And not to say that I'm in any kind of special place, but if you're looking to cut through the BS and the minutia and get down to the nitty-gritty of what's going on out here in cyberspace, then you would be wise to subscribe to this channel wherever you are viewing this. Now, my main YouTube channel, which is retiredmarinesoundsoff.com, I recently got banned off of there for an unnumbered amount of days because of community violations, whatever the hell that is. And so I'm currently in the YouTube doghouse, but I am going to upload this video to my secondary YouTube channel, which is called, I don't even know. I think it's a Motley Crue Fast Start or something like that. But anyway, I'm using this temporarily, and I am getting more subscribers and more views, which now on my main channel, I have almost 7 million views over the last 3.5 years. And I really hope to get back on my main channel soon, but I'll do whatever penance I need to get back in the good graces of the YouTube folks. You know what I'm saying? But was at Quantico PX tonight and decided to get me a official Marine Corps cover. I haven't worn one of these things in many years, and I thought, I'm getting tired of all those standard old hats, so I think I'm going to get me one of these. I could wear it like that, I guess. It looks a little goofy, though, don't it? Makes me look like a king. King Steve. Or Dunce, I don't know which. Looks like that dude on Gomer Pyle. I don't know. But anyway, I decided to go get me a little cover and a couple other goodies from the PX. And here I am in the old Quantico Inn, I think. Yeah, it's called the Quantico Inn now. But a great place to stay, any of you veterans that, can get on base. Whenever you're traveling, it's the Quantico main base exit. Come on down. Anyway, it's a good place to hang out. But I'll be heading down. I'm going to go down to Danville my hometown for a couple of days and see some friends, and then I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. I got to get a flight back to Boise. Thanksgiving kind of has disrupted a few things, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna fret about it. I'm just gonna go with the flow. It's good to be out and about, but there's a couple of things I want to tell you. These demons are really, really trying to do another lockdown. The cases that you're hearing are total BS, friends. The COVID-19 pandemic is not more than a common cold. That's been proven. I've personally spoken to several of the smartest doctors, a couple of them MIT, Harvard trained, in their special fields, and they say COVID's a hoax. But it's the great China virus designed to lock us down, to destroy the economy, and now they're going to try to blame it all on President Trump. Friends, the bottom line is we the people, I think today in D.C., made a very loud sound for the world to hear that we are not going to allow our country to be taken over by a communist Chinese agent, i.e. creepy Joe Biden. Ain't going to happen. Not on my watch, not on your watch. And it is a complete theft. But what troubles me is all of you Fox News idiots trying to say, well, maybe Trump should concede Laura Ingraham. Shame on y'all for doing that. Brett Baer calling the Arizona election for Biden with only 15% of the vote in. Great job, you knucklehead. You freaking globalist, you communist. I hope you enjoyed the Masters this weekend. I know that's one of your favorites. But the people know who you are now. You're a wolf in sheep's clothing, Mr. Bear. And the people got your number. And I think you're going to see your ratings drop considerably. Boycott Brett Baer. Boycott Brett Baer. Anyway, friends, it's a great time to be alive. I'm glad so many of you have decided to watch this short video tonight. But I want you to understand, too, what I was saying about Antifa. Now, just as it started getting dark, they started attacking patriots. I think you may even hear several of them have been killed. And these were brave souls that put themselves out on the front line today to make a statement. And yes, I'm going to raise my damn hand and say, praise God, I was there. I did my part by riding all over Northeast D.C. in the deep areas of color with my Trump flags blazing. And I think the hand of the Lord was with me. But getting back to April 2015, so I'm at the Dr. Weiss retreat, and then come to find out I had a couple blisters, really bad blisters on the bottom of my feet, which got infected. Make a long story short, ended up in the hospital for 8 days in Durham, North Carolina, and then ended up 6 weeks on a antibiotic pump, which almost killed me. And then somehow got in my car and made my way back to Boise and got checked into the hospital there, and the rest is history. But before I left Durham, North Carolina, on my last night before I got out of the hospital, I had a visitation from an angel. And I'm not going to make this elaborate. I don't need to. It's a matter of fact. And I will never recant from what I know to be true. But I was shown and told many things. And in a nutshell, I was told that, because I was very inquisitive about, basically, okay, I'll tell you real quick what happened. this angel appeared to me and said, look, I know you are very concerned about what you're doing here, about your future, and about what's going on in your life right now. And I said, yeah, that's a good start. I'm very curious about that. And this angel tells me that it was my desire at this particular time in my life to go through this huge medical ordeal that would, in the end, if I did certain things, in the end, it would be a blessing, what I was about to go through. That whole ordeal would be a blessing in the lives of many people. And I said, like who? And he said, like doctors, nurses, family members, yada, 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 ad nauseum. And I said, okay. And I said, but why? And I'm going to say, I said, why in the hell would I want to go through, this kind of medical ordeal? Like what you say is coming. And it came for a year. I was involved in this for a year and a half. And then I had an absolute miraculous recovery, as the angel told me I would if I prayed mightily throughout my ordeal, if I was kind to other people, and if I kept the faith. And I've questioned what that meant, kept the faith. I don't think it meant stay a Mormon. But rather I concluded that it meant hang in there. Don't give up. It may get rough at times, and it did. Because between that time and the end of the year and a half, I experienced, I don't know what the official nomenclature or name for it is, but I had what I call 7 potential exit points. Friends, I went through 7 experiences where I came close to crossing over to the other side. Now, I think I have about as good of an understanding about what awaits every one of us on the other side as anybody out there. And the way I came to it was through deep, hypnotic, past life regressions. And I must say, I worked with some of the top experts in the world. I'm not going to go through the, laundry list of names, but just suffice it to say, these were the best of the best. And I learned what to expect when we cross over. You see, whether you believe this or not is absolutely irrelevant, because there are certain things in this physical third dimensional existence that you could consider absolute truths. Regardless of your thoughts relative to it or your feelings, some things are what they are, and your thoughts relative to it are not going to change it. I call these absolute truths. And I think too many people today have wandered off into the wilderness of God knows what kind of ideologies, but I can tell you there are a lot of Satanists on this planet, a lot of Luciferians, a lot of child molesters and human traffickers. And I've been fighting, that cause along with other straight up veterans for many years. And I'll continue that fight till I take my last big goal. But I'm here to tell you that if you don't stand up at this particular time, it's going to get ugly. I just can't really see too far into the future past President Trump getting re-inaugurated in January, okay? Because he won that election by a landslide. There is absolutely no question. And it's ludicrous for these people to be calling Joe Biden president-elect and him calling foreign dignitaries. It's absolutely beyond belief. But they seem to think it's some kind of witchcraft that if they lie and claim long enough that he's the president-elect, some way miraculously he will become such. Well, friends, if he does, it's going to be a sad day in America because we'll be thrust back into the dark ages, and I think it's better to nip this thing in the bud now than allow Joe Biden to steal this election. We're just not going to stand for that. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up. I didn't want to make a real long one tonight. I just wanted to come on here and tell y'all what I've been up to. And appreciate your viewing this video. If you'd subscribe to this new alternative channel, I would appreciate it. I just went over 1,000 the other day, so that's a good thing. And you know, maybe it's like building from scratch. I don't know. But I am doing a lot of other social media sites, and I'm going to try to post them down below here so you can check them out. But there's a lot of, like Parler. But I don't know if Parler's being attacked right now or what, but it's been hell to get on there lately. So anyway, hang in there, friends. God bless you all, wherever you are on the planet. If I come across any viable breaking information over the next few hours, I might do another video. But I want to thank all of you again for tuning in, and God bless America, and don't give up the fight. We have to support our president because the demons are trying to take him down. All right? So listen, thanks again for watching, and I'll be back with you soon. But our future's so bright, we're going to all have to wear shades. But it's worth fighting for. There's nothing sweeter than freedom. So have a good evening. Have a good weekend. Be safe. And come back again. Love to see you. Have a good night, friends. Bye now.